My name is Wyatt Lortz, Product Support Specialist for Robertson Implements. We have a 2021 T9.700 here with us today with New Holland's new PLM Intelligence equipment. We are going to be going over the armrest, the cab controls, and the display. We are now here inside the cab of the T9.700. We are going to walk through the controls on the armrest, the IntelliView 12 display, and the headliner controls. On the back of the armrest is the adjustable cushion. It can be set to cover your remote valves or not. There is also a USB port located underneath the armrest. The 7 remote valves on the armrest can be configured to any valve on the machine. So number 1 does not necessarily have to run the number 1 valve. The lights will change based on the valve they are configured for. They can also be locked out with these little tabs so they're not accidentally pressed, and you can also lock them out in the display. There are 9 configurable controls on the armrest. 1 and 2 in the center, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are located at the back of the armrest. 7 is on the multifunction handle. 8 and 9 are beside the hand throttle. These configurable controls are configured in the IntelliView 12 display. To configure one of the 9 configurable controls, simply press the control and it will bring up the configurable controls page. That only works if the control is not assigned to a function. If a control has been assigned to a function, I'll just go back, go into your menu option and select your tractor card. And you'll have to scroll to the Configurable Controls tab, and this is where it'll bring up the menu. On the screen, you will also be able to assign remote valves to your levers, to your 7 levers on the armrest, and assign remote valves to the 2 remote switches on the multifunction handle. If you have 8 remote valves, you will have to use at least 1 of the switches on the multifunction handle. On the right-hand side of the armrest are your 4 configurable controls, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ahead of those controls are your 3-point hitch controls. We have draft, lower rate, raise rate, lower limit, and raise limit. The 3-point hitch thumb wheel is used for adjusting the 3-point hitch settings. We also have the selector for the front and rear hitch. This tractor is not equipped with a 3-point hitch, so those controls are all deactivated. Ahead of your hitch controls are your climate controls, audio controls, and phone hang up or pickup control. Ahead of your audio controls is your navigation controls with the back button, the thumb wheel, which is also an enter button, and the setup button. The navigation thumb wheel can be used to scroll between your run screens for easy access. The back button can be used to bring up your navigation wheel. This gives you quick and easy access to your EHR settings, engine, lighting, radio and phone, transmission, and your HVAC settings. By using the thumb wheel, pressing down will enter your HVAC settings. Pressing down again will take you into your desired setting. The Setup Navigation button will take you directly to the Configurable Controls page without having to walk through the display. There are 5 PTO controls on the armrest. They are the 5 yellow buttons. We have our PTO Engage switch, Auto PTO, which works with the 3-point hitch raise and lower switch on the multifunction handle. When the 3-point hitch is lowered, your PTO will engage. When the 3-point hitch is raised, your PTO will disengage. Our PTO Intent switch, which is used for stationary PTO work. Our PTO Engage rate, which is used when the PTO is under a heavy load during engagement for mixers or grinders. And then our PTO setup screen quick access button, which when pressed will bring up the PTO settings in the display. At the center of our armrest, we have our automatic diff lock engagement, manual rear diff engagement, manual front diff engagement. We also have our Headland turn sequence record and our Headland turn sequence play. We have 4 quick access buttons, which will open the settings for those features in the display. We have our transmission quick access, our EHR quick access, our Hitch quick access, and our engine quick access. We have configurable control 1 and 2, beacon light, and light memory 1 and light memory 2. Light memory 1 and 2 can be used to quickly turn on the desired lights that are set up for those buttons. On the left-hand side of the armrest, beside the hand throttle, are Engine Speed Management 1 and Engine Speed Management 2. These functions are used to quickly achieve the engine speed desired with the press of a button. You can set this engine speed by pressing and holding the button to save the current engine speed. You can also set the speed in the display. On your multifunction handle, you have your ground speed management or your cruise button, depending what kind of transmission you have in your tractor. You also have your gear selection or range selection, depending what kind of transmission you have in the tractor. The thumb wheel is used to change your ground speed management speed or your range speed, which is also dependent on what kind of transmission is in the tractor. We have our configurable control 7 on the multifunction handle, our shuttle forward and shuttle reverse buttons, and our neutral button. We also have our auto guidance engage, Headland turn sequence, hitch up, hitch down, EHR, retract and extend, and our stop button. The stop button is used to disengage the PTO, shut off all flow to the remote valves, and stop any movement of the 3-point hitch. On the back of the multifunction handle is your second function button, which can be used to give certain controls another function. For example, when shifting, the tractor will automatically skip a gear every time it shifts. But when pressing the second function button and shifting at the same time, you will only shift 1 gear at a time. At the headliner, we have our mirror extend and retract switch, our mirror angle switch, our isobus enable and disable switch, hazard lights, our switch to enable our 3-point hitch and our EHR remotes, disable our 3-point hitch while enabling our EHR remotes, or lock out the EHRs and the 3-point hitch. And then our roading switch, which will disable the auto guidance. What we have here is New Holland's IntelliView 12 display, which is new to the 2021 T9 tractors. On the main screen, you will see your 7 run screens, which are completely customizable. You can customize the name and everything that is in the run screen, which we will go through later in this video. In the left-hand area, which is also completely customizable, are going to be a handful of windows. On the top is going to be your faults. You will have all your active and inactive faults. Next to the faults is going to be our implement status, showing us if the status of the implement is down or up. Then our GNSS status, which is all information related to the GPS system. Next to that is our connectivity status, which is information related to our modem for any over-the-air or connected support. Next from our connectivity status is our applications icon, which is going to give you access to remote assistance services for over-the-air support from your service department, linking into your display, your photo gallery, your radio, the phone connection, and update manager. Next to the applications icon is your help icon, which is going to have all of your manuals that have been uploaded into the display, any videos which are uploaded, and some contact information from the dealer. In the top right corner will be the display overview option. If you click on display overview, it will bring up a help menu. So if you are unsure what is on the top bar of your screen, you can hit top bar and it will give you an explanation of everything, and you can click on different tabs for a description. Next to the help menu is the clock, which is also used for taking screenshots. If you press and hold the clock, it'll take a screenshot. You can view your screenshot, and those are stored in your photo gallery in the applications icon, where they can also be deleted. Next to the camera will be user profiles. In the user profile icon, you will have access to 3 user levels: the guest, basic, and administrator level. The administrator level is currently active on this display. I would have the ability to put this display into basic mode and lock anybody out from changing any settings in the display. That way, if you have a hired man running the tractor, you don't have to worry about them being able to change configurations and change settings that only the administrator can change. Next to the user profile will be your vehicle parameters. This is going to be live data from the tractor, everything from temperatures to voltages, sensor readings. Beside vehicle parameters is your menu button. So this is going to be used for a lot of different things. In system, you will be able to get things like software, changing your display brightness, language, data for data management, ISOBus for controlling any ISOBus implement, changing your ISO settings. Within your menu settings, you are going to have your tractor, your implement, your vehicle and implement configuration, GNSS and guidance, and work condition cards. You will be able to change and configure all the settings in those specific cards. You will also find your diagnostics in the menu setting and productivity reports. Next to your menu icon, you will find your operations icon. Your operations icon is going to be used on a daily basis to ensure that you are putting the proper inputs into your display. So your grower farm field task information will be located here. Also, make sure you are selecting the proper vehicle and implement configuration, as well as your work condition and your guidance configuration. The operations icon is an icon you will find yourself in on a daily basis. And beside the operations icon is your auto guidance engage switch. In the bottom right-hand corner of the display is your status icon. This will display the status of your active functions. So if I disable the remotes on the headliner, those are all inactive, they will go away. I'm now going to explain how to edit your run screens. So to get to the edit run screen page, just press and hold on one of the run screen tabs until you get a message. Would you like to enter edit screen layout mode? Yes. So within this page, you can delete things out of run screens and you can add them back in. You can create multiple different screen layouts. So I have Robertson Implements copy 1. That's the one I'm using. There are default run screen layouts, but we are going to stay on this run screen. So you can create different layouts for different operators. You can edit the left-hand side as well. And you can rename each run screen. They will come default as run 1, run 2, run 3, and so on. I'm now going to walk you through how to connect your phone or any device to the Bluetooth for the radio and answering calls. Click on the applications icon, go to phone. You'll then select add phone. At this time, you'll go on your phone and you'll follow the Bluetooth connecting procedure that you have on your device. And once it's connected, it will be paired and you will now have control for Bluetooth, playing music, answering phones, and all Bluetooth connectivity. I will now walk you through how to configure lights on the tractor to the 2 light memory switches on the armrest. So if you go into menu and into the tractor card, on the right hand side, there will be your lights tab. You can then turn on lights on the tractor by pressing and holding memory 1. A pop-up will ask if you want to save the current light selection to memory 1. I'm not going to save it because there are lights currently saved to number 1. And then what will happen when you select memory 1, the lights that you saved will come on. The same goes for memory 2. Turn on the lights that you want for that switch, press and hold memory 2, and hit OK. Another way to get to the light setup would be with the navigation thumb wheel. Press the back button, use the thumb wheel to scroll to lighting, and select on any of the lighting options, and it will bring you to the lights menu, and it's just at the top of the menu. I'm now going to go over how to set up your auto TerraLock angle. Your auto diff lock will only engage when the steering angle is within a certain spec. So to set that spec, go into your menu, the tractor card, and scroll down to TerraLock. You are then going to pick the angle that is acceptable for the TerraLock to engage. So this is the engagement zone that is selected right now. We will leave it there. And then when your auto TerraLock is engaged on the armrest, if your steering angle is outside of the engagement zone, your TerraLock will not engage. You can also access your radio using the navigation thumb wheel. Press the back button, go to radio/phone, and select radio/phone volume. And it will bring up your radio. You can select your source. If you're on Bluetooth, radio, Sirius XM, but nice and simple. We're now going to cover how to adjust your hydraulic flow out of your remote valves. If you have a tab open on your run screen, you can adjust it using the slider. After you click on the slider, you can use the thumb wheel to adjust the value as well. Another way would be selecting the EHR quick access button on the armrest to bring up your EHR menu. You can also access this menu by going through the menu, going to the tractor tab, and finding your remotes. And you can also access this menu by going to the navigation thumb wheel, going to EHR, and we'll go to R1. There are many ways to access the same control, making it very user-friendly. You can do it without taking your hand off the armrest. You can do everything through the display. It's however you prefer to operate the machine. So if you want to adjust the flow out of number 1, click on number 1. You can adjust your extend and retract target flow, and then adjust the times as well. Switching it to motor mode. This is also where you can lock out this remote and also set a timer. Engine speed management, or also referred to as ESM, has two saved settings, ESM1 and ESM2. To access your two ESM settings, there are two buttons on the armrest. When pressed, will automatically go to the engine RPM that is saved to that setting. To adjust your engine RPM that's saved to that setting, you can adjust it right on the run screen if you have a window open, sliding the slider or clicking on it and using the thumb wheel. You can also go into the engine settings by clicking the engine quick access button on the armrest and adjust it there. You can get to that menu as well by going to menu, tractor, and going to the engine option to adjust your engine speed management. And you can also get there with the navigation thumb wheel. Press the back button, go to engine, ESM. There are many ways to get there again. And like I said, press the button, goes to the engine speed. One last way to set an ESM value would be to manually go to the engine speed with the hand throttle and press and hold the ESM1 or ESM2 button until the value is saved. We are now going to cover how to set up your ground speed management, or also referred to as GSM. First, we'll go to the setup, click the transmission icon on the armrest, brings up your GSM settings. You can also get here by going to the menu option, tractor. Scroll to the transmission icon and you can get to your GSM settings. And again, you can use the navigation thumb wheel to go to transmission setting, GSM field sensitivity. There are two GSM modes, field mode and road mode. Obviously, field mode will be used when operating in the field, road mode for transport. What GSM does is it eliminates the use of having to set your engine speed and shift the transmission. It makes all those functions automatic. So, to engage your ground speed management field, press the GSM button on the multifunction handle once. It will bring up a menu on your info view display with your target speed and your max speed. Your max speed will be the target operating speed in the field. Your target speed will be determined by the position of the hand throttle. As you increase your hand throttle, your target speed will increase up until your max speed. When the hand throttle is pulled all the way back to zero, the tractor will be at low idle. When it is moved slightly off of zero, the tractor, the engine RPM, will increase to at least 1600 RPM. In GSM mode field, engine RPM will never drop below 1600 RPM. When using ESM with GSM field, ESM always takes priority. So you can set an engine speed at 1800 RPM and it will never fluctuate off of that RPM, but your transmission will shift automatically by using just the hand throttle. And your ground speed will never change from your max speed. And if it does, the transmission will compensate. When in GSM field mode, you will also have the ability to set up a GSM Load Anticipation setting. This setting will shift the transmission one gear lower when activated to anticipate load on the engine. For example, if EHR1 was selected, when you activate EHR1, the transmission will downshift to anticipate load. To activate GSM road mode, double tap the GSM button on the multifunction handle. GSM road will now put your max speed at the maximum speed this tractor can travel on the road, and the hand throttle will operate from 1 mile an hour all the way to your max speed, shifting the transmission and changing your engine RPM automatically. To adjust your GSM field and GSM road sensitivities, use the slider to adjust the percentage. The higher the sensitivity, the lighter load on the tractor for a shift. For example, if your tractor is constantly shifting and almost seems like it's looking for a gear to settle in, your sensitivity may be too high. But if your tractor is not shifting soon enough and is maybe bogging down, or you feel like it should be shifting when it's not, your sensitivity may be too low. A good place to start is 50%, and it can be changed from there. To exit ground speed management field, tap the GSM button once. So I'm going to demonstrate ground speed management, how it works. I can just single press the ground speed management button and adjust my speed. We'll set it to 5 miles an hour for this demonstration. Now we just start driving. Ground speed management is on, but because my throttle is all the way back, it will automatically drop to low engine idle. Now if I increase RPM, I'll max it right out. It will shift, the engine will rev up, and it will find that sweet spot where the load that we currently have on the machine is going to require for the engine RPM and the right gear. So it's shifted up to the 10th gear. We're at 15.5 right now. It will rev up to 1600 RPM. Well, maybe not. Here, I'm going to decrease my speed to 4.5. I just used the thumb wheel. So like I was saying, engine speed management always takes priority over ground speed management. I have engine speed management 1 set at 1950 RPM, if you want to shine it over here. 1950 RPM. So I'm going to press ESM 1. The engine will automatically go to 1950, and the transmission is going to start downshifting. So now we're at the 7th gear to maintain that 4.5 miles per hour. ESM 2 is set at 1800 RPM. I'll go to 1800 RPM, clicking ESM 2. RPMs will drop to 1800 RPM. And we're still in the 7th gear because we can still maintain this speed with this engine load. And that is ground speed management. We're now going to walk through how to set a swath, create a guidance line. So go to your run screen with the map. I just use the thumb wheel, but you can just click on it too. And click on the swath icon on the right hand side. If you have any swaths that are created in your field already, you can go to manage, and all the swaths that are associated with that field will be there. We've created a few already. We're going to make a new one. You can create a straight AB. We're going to create a heading, but there's a list of swaths that you can create. So we're going to create a heading. It automatically populates with your current heading. So we're going 184.3 degrees. That's our current direction, almost straight south. You can, let's go a little bit. Let's go straight south here. 180 degrees. You can also just click on the bar and enter a heading. So we'll apply 180 degrees. It snaps us a new line, and now we can engage. So I'll hit my shuttle forward. Auto guidance, and it takes over. To disengage, you can just simply turn the steering wheel and auto guidance will disengage. We're now going to walk through how to create a boundary or a headland with the new IntelliView 12 monitor. So on the right-hand side, go to the boundary icon. Again, you can manage the current boundaries. We created a boundary here. And you can manage the current headlands. We haven't created a headland in this field. If you went to headland, you hit start. You can now drive and create your headland and apply it when completed. Or you can create a boundary around an obstruction in the field if you're driving around a slough. So this one's set to outer boundary. If we had something in the field, we'd go to inner boundary. And if it was an impassable boundary, we'd go impassable. And you can select what type of obstruction it is. If it's a road, there's a slough, and then you can record that boundary. So you can really get accurate information of what is in your field right from your display. So it's just at the click of a button, and you can very easily change your data. So the new T9 tractors that are equipped with the PLM Intelligence equipment come with a rear and a front-facing camera from factory. We've set up run screen 6 for the front-facing camera, run screen 7 for the rear-facing camera. When you are on any screen, if you are driving in reverse, the reverse camera will automatically populate on the screen. So it makes it very easy to see what's behind you, and it's very user-friendly. So that concludes the walkthrough of the new T9.700 with the new cab, new armrest, and the IntelliView 12 display. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, give us a call at Robertson Implements. Thank you.